I'm so stupid. What up, man? Wait, there's nobody there. Welcome everyone back to a very special, a very progressive episode 26 of the Dead Mothers Club podcast. This is, we're going to be starting a new format, a single host, guest podcast format. It was tough. You know, I've run through two co-hosts already, but I'm very excited to announce that I have a whole new thing here. I've got guests booked for the next, I don't know, maybe like 2 months. And, you know, this thing's going to go in another direction. I'm very excited to announce that I have an individual on the podcast with me that I would say one of the most unique 6 months of my life. And to have him is such an honor because our story is so limited that literally we spent 6 months of the hardest, most grueling, like, transformative months of our life together. And then I didn't see him, we spent these 6 months after college together. I didn't see him. He showed up out of nowhere at the showing of my mother's funeral. I swear to God, it is an absolute honor to have on the podcast this week a very great friend of mine, Dave Benninger. How are you, sir?
Fantastic, Matt. Thanks for having me tonight.
Where are you living right now?
Right now, I'm in Union, Kentucky.
Really? I think the last time we spoke, maybe a few years ago, you were in West Ohio.
Yeah. Originally from Worcester, Ohio. So
Okay.
kind of bounced around from there. In Cincinnati for about the last 9 years. And
Okay.
just bought a place over the river.
Yeah.
Over the river.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
in Kentucky. And I've got to say, it's not bad. I like it.
Yeah, it's I heard you guys just had a bunch of storms up there. Everybody knows I'm in Southwest Florida. I mean, I'm very thin-blooded at this point. So is this your first time on a podcast?
Yeah, I feel super awkward, so go
wow
ahead.
Hey, chill. Listen,
me for some weird behavior.
No, there's no format to it, actually, and we're going in a new direction, which is these guests that I have scheduled for the next like month and a half. It's going to be like diving into certain portions of my life and just having like kind of obscure individuals on, and there's no more obscure, I would say, in my life than we came together, our paths in life crossed and kind of waved together for 6 months in life and separated. But are you still working for Davey?
I am still. Dude, that's Davey Resource Group. Yeah.
I threw my Davey career down the drain. That's what I could have been doing.
Gotta say, every company has their ups and downs, and it's been really good to me. And,
Davey is an employee owned. They are one of the best companies, in my opinion. So this is, I went out to to work with Davey South Chicago for maybe like 4 years after college before I ended up moving to Florida full time. And that as well was a very transformative period in my life. And it's a company that really puts an emphasis on, I don't know, just teaching the employees, and there's I don't know, kind of a family feel to it, even though it's a like top 10 now employee owned company in Forbes 500.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. It's either 7th largest in the nation or 9th, and I can't remember right now, but you're absolutely right, man. I've got to say, it's, I'm not just like plugging a business here, but
no,
I'm blessed to be working with who I'm with, and I've got a great group of folks around me, or I wouldn't be there.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's been pretty freaking awesome.
Are you surveying?
No, I'm kind of run the Southern Ohio, Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, Ohio River Valley ecological consulting office. So right now we've got 40 consultants
Beautiful.
in our office, and man, it's just great, man. I couldn't be more pleased with everybody's performance, and dude, I'm just blessed.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm
having an awesome group of people around me.
yeah, it's a great company. What would you say is your like first memory of us meeting each other? Because I want to talk about our careers, like what we're doing now later in the episode, but I really want to kind of start from the beginning with you. And
I know exactly what it was. I know exactly what it was.
What was that?
So I don't know if you know all these statistics or anything, but the Ohio Woodland Job Corps,
that's what it was called,
was through the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, partially associated with AmeriCorps. There, I believe it was like 2,100 or like 1,800 applicants
for the first which round. Like 190, right?
No, dude, it was like 70.
Really?
Yeah,
I remember that the whole program was funded by Obama's stimulus, because I graduated college in 2009, and the meltdown of 2008 happened. Obama got elected. Yeah, and then so they put all this money into the different divisions of the Ohio Department of this and the Ohio Department of that, and Nate Jester made out like a bandit down there.
That guy's killing it now.
Is he?
What a guy. What a guy. I have so much respect for him.
That's great. Yeah, I haven't spoke to or mentioned him or really even thought of him in probably a decade, but that was another one of my great mentors in my life. But was it when did you pick me up from Columbus to drive? We drove down to some sort of Orient. That was the second time we met.
Yeah. So the first time you and I ever interacted, we obviously we interviewed, shit ton of people interviewed, and only a handful were selected. Right. And they went ahead and started sorting us out by, what forest we would be assigned to, right?
Shawnee, big shout.
And we got assigned to the tip of the heart. And it was the day that we were going in to get sized for our gear.
For our boots.
And we were getting sized for our boots.
I remember that, and I saw it, and in my mind, how I remember this was I'm gonna need a roommate down here, so I need to pick somebody out of this group of people I'm gonna interact with today and we ended up going back to that specific state forest for a bunch of training.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the first time I saw you, I was like, out of the group of people here. Let me see what this kid's gonna do when we get down here.
I mean, I'm flattered. I'm flattered. I was chosen out of a group of like 20 or so. You got a good eye.
Oh yeah, the rest is history.
Yeah, and I just remember you approaching me and being like, "Yo, like, want to find a place?"
And that place, I definitely want to talk about on this episode. We were living on the opposite. Our landlords, they built a house, and then they decided to put a wall directly through the center of that house and rent out half of the house. It was in a great neighborhood. I mean, it was up a hill. We never had no problems.
We were against a Catholic monastery, is that the proper word?
Did we hear bells?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Daily?
We heard bells at least on the weekends. And do you remember the white deer? We had a white deer. Yeah,
I do now remember that. Dude, that was one of the greatest times. Like, I really have to say about that 6 months, all the things that I learned from I don't know, just about how the process works of getting training in something and then being recruited because you're working for Davey. I could spend this entire episode like name dropping South Chicago Davey guys in a way that I would try to weasel my way back into the Davey, tree experts, But I'm not going to do that. Like, yes, I do want to kind of just talk about, people tell me like, oh, on your podcast, Matt, you talk about, like stories with people, you reminisce about old times, and no one can relate. You need to do more like, modern stuff. So we have to talk about like maybe Jake Paul at some point, just to make this relatable. Or you pick whatever we'll talk about.
Well, I got to start here. If we're gonna go back to that 6 months, so I remember. Is it okay if I go back?
Absolutely.
So you're like, yeah, you had a room together, and I was like, thanks. It's nice. Hello. what's your name? Yes. Like, let's make it happen. I'm going down, and here's where my mind is going. Is that Juice in the back?
Yes, absolutely. This dog is still alive. That dog is still alive. Yes.
So I have to say, one of my fondest memories of also living with you, man, was Juice Mang, and just being able to enjoy his
Hell yeah,
goofiness, man. What a dog with character.
for sure.
He has some personality to him, and
You know what he's doing now?
With you. No, what?
He comes into work with me. I don't want to. He comes into work with me on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and just everybody loves him, and it's this whole thing. So he's still, to this point, I mean, I do think that this dog has probably had one of the best lives that a dog may have ever had. To get lined up with somebody coming out of college, which, Phil Descends. I have to give him a shout out on this episode. Is that Phil Descends was the guy who set me up with the entire like intel in the first place. Hey, the Ohio Woodland Job Corps is happening, of which I do want a little toot my own horn. Boop, boop, that there were like what, maybe 13 or 15, 17 group leaders chosen out of that. And I was one of those guys. That was one of my greatest achievements in my life.
And I worked under this gentleman.
Yeah, it was me, you, Alert, Pete, the father of the hills. We had, who was the guy we went hunting with? What was his name?
Brad.
Yeah. Last
Brad.
name. I don't remember.
Too long ago. But he was also he was a native of like South Central.
Yeah. South Ohio. And that was a different terrain for me when I had moved down. Like, I mean, I was in the edge of Appalachia in Youngstown, but when I got down there and saw those hills, I would say still to this date that one of the hardest things that I've ever done in my life was painting boundary for for the Shawnee Forest, Ohio Division of Natural Resources, Division of Forestry. That experience literally made me a man. And I think you and I were together for most of it.
Dude, that was brutal.
Describe that for the listeners.
I would say you had a topographic map. Maybe it showed certain features, maybe it didn't, and you were handed a bucket, and it was filled with paint. And
yellow paint,
and it was the middle of winter. I mean, it was brutally cold.
We would find the coordinate that was closest to a road, and we would drop you off. They would drop us off, or we would drop them off. We would say, just walk up this side of this hill here. You're going to find at some point there a tree that has 2 yellow dots on it. You need to follow that a tree and repaint that boundary. So you need to put 2 new fresh yellow dots on that tree and follow just in that direction. Just get to trekking, bitch. Go that direction, find another tree with yellow paint, put 2 new dots on it. And we went up some of the steepest hills.
Oh man.
I mean, definitely. We got up to that field. Do you remember getting up to a field where we were like, dude, this is an airstrip at the top of a...
I do.
Super weird.
To this day, I actually think about that. But we saw, multi-million dollar like hunting cabins,
I remember
out
that
in the
as
middle of
well.
nowhere. But
Yep.
man, I can't think of another job that really challenged me. It's like paper map, like figure it out. Like
Yeah.
you have a can of open can of paint.
It's gonna freeze within an hour and a half, 2 hours.
And like, we'll see you at the other end of this. And dude, that was tough because I remember a day that we got to a peak, because like you said, the topography, it was like 200, 600, 200, 600. And I remember sitting with you at the top of the peak one day, and it was just, snowing to where you can't see ahead of you. And we just sat down and we're like, gorgeous.
Beautiful,
And where the
beautiful
hell
terrain.
are we?
Absolutely. We went through a blackberry patch or some sort of patch of like thorny vines. And it was so close to, and we only did this for, I would say, maybe 3 weeks of the 6 months that we spent, because of the 6 month internship we spent together, we did maybe the first 2 months, 2.5 months were training, where every day it was easy breezy. We could go to work, and we were going to some sort of class that day, but the last 3.5 months were definitely
They honed us. It honed us. Took the training and they put it to work.
Yeah, Nate Jester forcing me to do that in the woods of southwest Florida, which I had no experience before. And then Osmar Mejia, when I got out to Davie in South Chicago, that guy, the way he mentored me, these are two of the like life forming kind of things that brought me to where I'm at. We can't mention Nate Jester without Matt Morgan. Matt Morgan, right?
Yeah, that's the right name.
Okay, I wanted to make sure I didn't get that wrong. That guy, I would even say, was more of an OG. That guy, I don't know any of his accolades, but imagine just like he probably grew up in Southwest Ohio in I don't know, the 50s, 60s maybe.
I'm not sure. He was a legend, man. I'll never forget that there's literally like I don't know what the advertisement was, but him holding that saw with the blade going over his shoulder. It's like up on his knee.
Oh wow.
I can see it in my head. I don't even know what it was for, but
I slightly remember that.
Yeah, he's a legend and a very talented individual.
Yeah, when you spend an entire lifetime in tough terrain and you learn about the hills, he was so embedded in the community. He would really know every pig roast or every hunt that was going on. I really looked up to that guy. Who I looked down to was Adam Groom.
Jesus, I forgot that.
Grooms County. They're gonna rename it Grooms County.
Yeah.
What do you want me to say? He's out there somewhere still to this day, I bet.
I hope he's doing okay.
Me too.
So
I don't know. Just the entire experience and oh my God. We would go out and clear culverts when we had nothing to do. Who was the guy we knew that he was real bad on drugs, and he would say, Chris, maybe. He would say, man, what's with this walking shit? You remember he used to have a cigarette he would hold like this?
He would open his mouth and it would only hang from one lip. Like I don't know how he did it.
Straight down, like pressed against his chin, and he'd go, because we would walk the trails, we would walk the roadways, and if we saw litter down on the hillside, because that was common in Southwest Ohio, people would just drive out and throw their debris. Yeah.
Tires, some
So
bigger shit,
and we would go down and try to, grab it and get it and bring it up. And he would say, "Man, what's with this walking shit?" Because he didn't like to pick up litter.
Yeah. I think you mentioned Alert.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeti.
I don't need to go into names or anything like that, but
No.
I wonder what that guy's up to too.
No, he was a
I think about
legend.
these gentlemen a lot. It was Ohio Woodland Job Corps, right? And
Right.
the whole idea of a corps is you work hard together, you obviously get shit done,
Right.
but there's like a camaraderie built,
Oh yeah.
and I
That
miss
dude,
these gentlemen.
he always had a dip in his mouth, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Didn't he have a
Yes, he
dip?
did.
And I swear he would always keep like this backpack on, or maybe I got a video of him doing the physical, like remember we had to do where we had to
Pack test.
rucksack
Pack test.
Yep, the pack test where we had to confirm, and I think it was on that day that he got the nickname Yeti. And then on another day, we came back to his house after like camping or doing something, and he found out that he had got broken into. Now he had a line going down the center of his house, and there were two stairways like going up.
Oh my god. I forgot about this.
Yeah, and somebody went into, that unit on the other side, which wasn't locked. They went through and they bust through the wall there, right at the bottom of the stairs, went up his side of the stairs and stole like a gun and a bunch of stuff.
Fuck, I've totally forgot about that shit, man.
He had the dually.
Yeah. That he crashed on like a railroad track. Anyways, but man, you can only secure your house so hard, right? When they bust straight through your walls, it's like
When you're
if
you're
addiction's
renting,
real, man.
Yeah, renting in Portsmouth, Ohio.
That was West Portsmouth.
Where he was at or where we were at?
I don't know, man. That's all the same to me.
How many acres was that entire state farm? Or I'm sorry, state forest that we worked at? That was had to be 2,000.
No. You're missing a few zeros there.
Oh, 20,000.
It's like I believe the original size was like 90,000 acres or something, like very excessive like this, and then they've continued to add on with Edge of Appalachia and a few other parks.
Oh,
so
really?
I believe contiguous forest, it's like 150,000 acres. It's crazy.
It's bigger now than it was when we,
Yeah.
Wow, that makes me happy to hear.
Yeah, and the Nature Conservancy has actually bought up a lot of property around there. Edge of Appalachia is one of theirs, and they're like putting in not GMO'd, but like native bred son of a bitch. What are they called?
What do they make bread with? Wheat, rye.
God damn it! What are the trees that like went extinct back in the day? Chestnut. Like native chestnuts.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, we planted a whole field of black chestnuts. Do you remember that?
We planted about 12,000 trees in 3 days.
Wow, with that machine that we
would
would drag
down.
Yeah, we would drag that machine behind the tractor and just boop, 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 put a bunch of them in. That was, dude, I had so much fun during that time of my life. Like all the training.
Sorry, go ahead.
You remember golfing with him? Golfing with Alert? You don't? Maybe it wasn't me and you, because there was a golf course. You remember you used to follow that road out past the state forest. There was a little diner down there that had the best biscuits and gravy.
Still in business.
Really?
Yep.
I love it. I love to hear that. We should shout them out. I'll have to find out the name of that and put it in the description of the podcast, just so we can give them some. But yeah, I swear it was you and I that we went golfing with Eilert one day at that little.
You did that with somebody else, man. I wasn't there golfing.
Oh, okay. Yep, right there on the river.
Yeah, I still go out there now and then.
Really?
Yeah, not that far. I'm maybe an hour and a half. Well, when I
What,
lived
southeast, southwest?
well, now I'm southwest because I'm in Kentucky, but my wife and I have gone out there backpacking a few times.
There were
Some of the trails that you and I cleared with a weed eater, humping a chainsaw out there. Oh man, I mean it's crazy.
Some of the most majestic hilltops that I've seen in my life, where you just look out off of a hilltop. There's a bunch of other rolling hilltops, and there's a beautiful sunset and a mist and a smokiness to the horizon that if anybody hasn't traveled or gone to see something like that, check out the Kentucky.
For Ohio, I don't know of another place like it. Do you remember that vista that we cleared one time?
Yes.
I'll send you a picture.
No, yes, I do. Yeah, I do.
You, me, Brett, that other dude from starts with a W.
Joe?
Yeah, and Steve Cox.
Yep. And I send him a Christmas card every year.
Really?
I still send Steve Cox a Christmas card every year.
Good man.
On Big Bear Road, I believe.
Dude,
I think he's out there.
But I went back to that vista.
Really?
It took me forever. It's like a maze on those roads,
Okay.
And my wife and I went back out there in 2021, and we eventually found it.
Wow.
So, kind of cool,
Did you fuck? Were you able to fuck? I'm sorry. This is the Dead Mothers Club.
You know why?
Is dead.
You know why? Because the vista wasn't cleared well enough. If we would have had that view, it would have been.
The picture that I have of Steve, he has his hand up like this, like he's got his, it's such an iconic photograph that I don't know, feels like something that should be in, I don't know, National Geographic or something. And he spent so much time in his life building log cabins that dude really deserves his flowers because I haven't got a response from him on the Christmas card in, let's say, 1 or 2 years, but he used to respond and seemed like he was in good health. He was still dating, I think, his same wife that it seemed like things were good.
Excellent. Happy to hear that, man.
He lost his ass. You remember that the house that he built that he lost his ass on?
No.
Dude, he told us that a story about how he built a log cabin, like a fully, beautiful log cabin for somebody, and they dicked him on the payment.
Oh my God, I do remember that now.
Yeah, and then he said that kind of like ended his log cabin home building, and then he just did it kind of as a side project for friends, and he would do interior woodwork and such.
What a shame. What a talented individual, and what a bitter taste to be left in your mouth after something like that.
Humans suck.
So fuck, man. So, it's been a damn long time since you and I engaged. So, I know you went to Chicago, right? Afterwards, is that correct?
Yeah. Because we went to a recruitment by Davey Tree, funded through the program we were in, and my name somehow got out to Chicago. I got a call when I was back in Youngstown, and I went out there for 4.5 years. I was at the Burr Ridge location. It was called South Chicago. I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch of new offices that have popped up that would be considered like more South Chicago now, but I trained under Jeff Cowan and Osmar Mejia, Brad Wise, Marcus Parker, and Matt. God damn it. That's a legend there, to forget his name. Just Jeff Garceau, the Flying Frenchman. He would get up there. He'd have a saddle on and he'd have a rope and he'd swing himself around. He'd fly around from one side of the tree to the other. The wild son of a bitch.
I don't know how some climbers do that crap, but that's cool, man. So look, catch me up, man. How'd you get from there to Florida?
I found a beautiful woman in Chicago who I started a relationship with. Well, the primary thing was that my mom died when I moved out to Chicago. I had been there for maybe 3.5 years, and then my mom died, and I had kind of already started the relationship already. So we then got pregnant pretty quickly after my mom passed, and her family, you know, me having not really much family left in Ohio. It was just my brother in Dayton at that point. She had a lot of family here in South Florida, and I literally, dude, I used to have anxiety about getting up in the morning in the winter and going and climbing trees or dragging brush or putting wood in wood chippers. Like I was on prescription medication. I was not at a great point in my life after my mom died, and I felt like at that point, you know, yes, I need to get out of here to somewhere where it's warm and just go start a new life, start a new family, and put roots down somewhere else. And unfortunately, the relationship didn't work out since I've got down here, but I've got 2 beautiful children, and
Congratulations.
yeah, and it's good. I mean, things are good right now. I'm at the delivery and installation coordinator for a local nursery. So I constantly
Really?
I just mess with, you know, plants all day long. These old women, I do retail sometimes. These old women come in and say, "Oh, I need a plant for this corner. I got a corner." You know, they say. But I spend like the first literally until 1:00 or 2:00 every day out of the office doing installation. So I plant like 6 trees a week down here. I'm planting palm trees all the time. I go to these beautiful like neighborhoods, or sometimes I'll go over to the beach. I think that my dead mother would be really proud of where I'm at, you know, living by the ocean right now, working where I do, doing what I do. So yeah. It's been a crazy path to get here, but things are good right now.
Beautiful. I mean, congrats on the children, man.
Oh man, and you don't have any kids yet?
And we're not gonna have kids.
Okay. Hey, I don't want to get too personal. Hey,
that's
a decision. And I thought that I was gonna do that. I swear, the whole thing with like my family dying within like 3 years of each other, or 4, because my grandpa died, then my grandma died, then my mom died. So
I knew it was fast for you.
Yeah, it was pretty quick, dude. Why were you even at my mom's showing? We cannot get out of this episode because you didn't tell me you were coming. I was standing there, dude, and as people are coming past, shaking my hand.
You look like you saw a ghost.
Huh?
You look like you saw a ghost. You're like,
I love that we're talking about this.
I was there, man, because we had, I mean, shit, if it was 6 months, we had been through a lot. You know, some like really goofy ups and downs. You know, it was like kind of, I graduated also in 2009, and I think we were both trying to like just find what the hell was going on after that. And you know, I know personally I struggled, and really you know, we got to know each other pretty fast, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You do when
you go through that.
Yeah, when you live together with somebody randomly that's like, hey, we're sizing boots, want to live together, you know? And I knew what she meant to you, and I also knew that I didn't know what the fuck I was doing in life, and I knew she was heavily supportive of you as a person. And
oh my god. Financially and emotionally, dude. I would call her and put the weight of everything And this is something I've just stopped doing recently, is like calling people and putting the weight of my shit on them. You know, I would
Yeah.
call her and be like, hey, I got no money left in my bank account, and she would put $300 in my account. Or I'd call her and just whatever it was, emotionally, financially supportive. And she, what my mom said to me is that you only call me when things are bad. So when you're not in touch, I know that things are good, so I'm happy with that. And that, yeah, that's heavy, dude, right? Like, damn, I wasted so much time like using her like as a crutch and not, showing her the respect she deserved.
Yeah, but I think on the latter hand, like looking at that too, if you're not getting any communication, you've probably achieved what you needed to achieve as a parent.
All right.
And I think there's a little bit of beauty in that too.
Oh yeah, she probably was proud of that. Because there might have been like 6-month, 8-month, 10-month periods between when I called her up and said, hey, I fucked up again. So I mean, there's got to be some pride in that. If you set your kids up enough that they could have 10-12-month stints of not fucking up.
Yeah. I don't know. It's all pretty mixed, but I gotta say I was there because I knew what she meant to you, and I hadn't spoken to you in a long time. But when I learned that had happened, uh, all I could think of was like, fuck, like uh, I don't know. I don't know if I could make a better gesture of me as a person showing support to you than not even knowing what I'm doing there, man, aside of showing up and
That
just
really
there for whatever you need me for.
that really speaks to your character, specifically. Like, we're all raised with these values and these qualities, and for you to do something for somebody that you had really spent such a little portion of your life with, I think that that really speaks a lot about your character, and that's something you can be proud of. And I don't know, man. Yeah, literally, the DMC listeners know there's no format to this podcast. We come on here and like I have this little list of things I might want to talk about, but I think that really getting to sit down with you tonight after having not seen you since that night. I think we exchanged a few text messages over the last few years. When was the last time you heard from me before 2 months ago?
That's what I was just trying to calculate.
Did I message you on Christmas Day?
I do not remember, to be honest.
I think I messaged you on Christmas Day, said like, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, it was Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve. Yep. And then I was like, you know what? This is somebody that I want to have on the pod.
Yeah.
And we made it happen.
How long has it been since then, man? Do you mind if I ask when your mom passed?
No, yeah, we're coming up on what? 10? No, it was December 10th, 2011. So it was the 10-year anniversary. Wow. I think this maybe like 2-3 months ago. So, but I don't even acknowledge that day anymore. That's why I'm saying like I don't know.
Yeah, that's okay. I was just thinking when we actually had an actual conversation last was probably about a decade ago.
And then look at us here tonight, just making history, setting the new format, dude. I couldn't be prouder, actually. So my just joy to have you on here for this episode is that you're setting the new tone going forward. That I've spent the first 25 episodes of the Dead Mothers Club podcast coming on here, joking around, like really not taking this seriously, probably not putting my best foot forward on a lot of these episodes. I've gone through, 2 co-hosts already, that asking anybody to come on here weekly with me. And, kind of like I said, I call people and I have them absorb the weight of my problems. Like, I think a weekly guest format is more suitable. So for you to set it off like this, and for us to have, you know, such a meaningful conversation,
it's an honor for me. Thank you.
Yeah, I really take a lot of pride in it. And I don't know, let me look through my list here. Beep boop beep 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 boop boop beep beep. Computing. I think I covered it. Maybe the last thing I want to do is give flowers to the 3 team leaders that we had there, though. It was me, and then wasn't Joe a team leader of a different team?
Is he like a really tall dude, brunette?
No, that guy was on our team. He didn't make the team leader. It was me, him, Joe, and like a country boy. Who was the country boy who got to be team leader?
I do not remember. I thought there was one of them that was like an EMS. Like he did dispatch for.
That was the country boy. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He had Adam Grooms on his team. He had Adam Grooms. Remember, look, Adam Grooms had his teeth out like this. You remember? What they call him, a river rat.
I played the fifth.
I haven't thought of that term since we were down there, but I mean, hey, I was 19 in Southern Ohio.
Yeah, dude, what? I'm envious. I've got 6 inches of frozen sleet ice up here, and another 2 inches of snow on top of that.
Oh no, that's gonna take 2
It's
weeks
disgusting.
to thaw out. Yeah,
I fucking hate it. I
it's gonna
fucking
be
hate
slushy.
it.
It's gonna
From
cause.
northern Ohio, like up by the Canton, Akron area, like where you are OG from. And I moved down to Cincinnati. Now I'm down in Kentucky. And I don't know, like 2 years from now, I'm going to be in Tennessee. And another year from that, I'm going to be in Alabama. And another year from that, I'm going to be down in Florida with you. So,
Absolutely.
What is the best thing about Florida? Sell me.
Yeah. So the thing is that when my perception before I moved here was that it's all drug addicts and retirees. That
yes,
from being from Ohio, the national stories are always geared towards either something as crazy is happening in Florida, or the retire. There's a culture of young people down here. Like, I've been doing stand-up comedy recently. I'm trying to sell these shirts with eastcoastcalifornia.com. There's a culture down here of young people that are there's 1,100 miles of shoreline around Florida, more shore than California, anywhere else. And there's just a vibe here. I mean, just the music that I've been listening to, check me out on Spotify. Oh man, you'll find all the playlists. A very tropical vibe, a lot of reggae, a lot of just carefree, when things happen. I don't know. People here are chill. There's not like OSHA. There's like OSHA up north. Oh my God, there's OSHA. There's like no OSHA here.
What are you experiencing for all this COVID stuff? I have no hard opinions to share at this point.
Right.
What are you going through?
My life didn't change at all during COVID. It happened, and then I remember there was like 2 or 3 weeks where we were all told to stay home from work, and that was great. But then I had to get back to paying my rent and things down here. So I swear I started driving grapple truck, those claw trucks. They got the claw on the top. I got the CDL from Davey. And I was driving grapple trucks for a year, and then now I'm working over at the nursery for a year. And literally, like, COVID didn't change my life. You see what Joe Rogan did moving out of California, how he took all those comics, that entire scene, with him to Austin, Texas. So you see these red states like Florida and Texas with a recent influx of population because, dude, like, literally people are not trying to like put up with whatever bullshit is happening wherever else.
Who's Joe Rogan?
Oh, he's on the hot seat right now for his
of course I know who that fucker is. Yeah. No, just teasing.
They just put out the N-word video of him. Previous to that, they tried to say that he was, I don't know. I started listening to him maybe back in 2017. I probably listened to literally like over 500 episodes, and they're always fascinating. He has a guest on that he'll dive deep into whatever their expertise is, and he seems to ask the right questions, and I don't know, I like him.
I enjoy the long format.
Absolutely.
Long format is something that is missing for a lot of media. However, I'm not going to touch Joe Rogan with a 79-foot pole right now.
Right now. No, yeah. I'm definitely putting that clip of myself saying I support Joe Rogan on. No, I won't.
You can go ahead and censor out that I said Joe Rogan.
Oh, absolutely. No, who should we touch else? Who else should we touch right now? Let's touch Tim Dillon. Let's touch who else is toxic? It's so weird, dude. We're going through a transformation right now. With the internet that came on in the 90s and early 2000s, right now we are in this transformative period in human history that like 100 years ago we were on horses and buggies, and now we're going through this right now. I mean, it's accelerated.
It is exponential. You're correct.
It's nuts right now.
Have you ever read the book by Peter H. Diamandis and I can't even think of the other dude's name, called Abundance? Yeah, Abundance.
I'm gonna write that down.
It's super old. I think it came out like as you and I graduated college, 2009. But not that I adhere, agree, or run with all the ideas in the book, but the idea of like exponentialism for certain technologies.
Oh.
And, yeah.
You see the way AI is influencing Silicon Valley is influencing everything. I tried to climb the corporate ladder twice here in Florida. I was an operations supervisor for 2 different landscaping companies.
Really?
I would manage mowing and pruning teams at different communities. I fell off this corporate ladder at both companies. But to see the way that Silicon Valley is influencing the landscaping industry right now, because there's this new technology. One of them was called Aspire. One of them was called something else. But basically what they do is you track everything through this one service, and it spits out your profit margins on the other end. And what we've been seeing is the bright views and the valley crests and the whatever these large shareholder landscaping corporations are nationally buying up mom and pop shops, and they're trying to say, oh well, if your margins aren't this or that, we can't give you enough. You've worked your life away to build this, but we can still only give you. And you see Silicon Valley in their little greasy palms in every industry.
Dude, you're right about Brightview. They're a monster. They just got.
Yeah, they bought up like maybe 3 or 4 over the last 2 years down here, and
it's probably within a locale,
Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole coastline, from Fort Myers, Punta Gorda down to Naples, it's blowing up like the East Coast did right now. This side of the state is. So yeah, if you have the money and the credit to invest, Dave, and you're continuously moving down here, an investment in Southwest Florida is not a bad idea. The house I'm living in right now, when I moved in here, these were selling for like 78,000 right now. This house is on Zillow for like 190,000. I mean, I rent. I can't claim this house, but it's coming up down here.
My wife just passed. I was going to tell her to get her come in here and say hello.
Tell her to say hello. Tell her to hop on the. If she's shy, that's fine. She doesn't have to.
She's probably too shy. What else do you want to talk about, man? Like,
I don't know. Just
time here, and I mean, I'm an open book. Drill me. What do you want?
Well, I don't know. How do you feel about the metaverse? What do you want to talk about? The metaverse? You want to talk about where this world is going? Who knows?
Yeah.
I found recently that I like I don't know, my kids are, and this is why I don't, I'm happy for you. Don't have kids, dude. Don't have
Ages
kids.
really quickly, so I understand. What are your children?
7 and 3. Dude,
Wow.
they're both into like Minecraft and Roblox already. You could listen to our own podcast. I have a podcast with my 2 children that I put out new episodes weekly.
I didn't know that.
It's called the No Idea Podcast, and you can find it on Amazon, Google, and iTunes. We also have an Instagram page, the No Idea Podcast. I'm creating these infrastructures all as hobbies right now, hoping I'm throwing things at the wall, just hoping one of them sticks. But we literally put out episode 26 this weekend. It's just me and them. We shoot the shit.
I will certainly check that out.
But yeah, that's why
You're very blessed. You're very blessed.
It's good, but I don't judge you for not wanting kids because yeah, dude, where this world's going with the metaverse. Have you seen Ready Player One?
Oh yeah, I've read the book. I absolutely. That sounded pretentious. No, I love the whole idea. I love the concept. I'm pretty fascinated by it. But
Are you a gamer yourself?
not anymore, man. I used to be a really hardcore gamer, and
this is
I
something.
probably haven't touched a console game now for going on 3 years.
Congratulations. This is something I wanted to say. I flicked the bottle cap into your brand new television.
Do you remember that?
In Portsmouth. You were showing me Metalocalypse videos, dude. We were watching Metalocalypse like crazy. And we were drinking we made snowballs with the gin and tonic that night. Or at least I was going outside making little ice balls of fresh snow, bringing them in, putting gin in there, and then whatever, Sequence 7. And I remember, that I was in your room just dicking around, and I flicked the bottle cap the wrong direction, and it literally took out a pixel on like one pixel on a 5-month-old television, a brand new like HD TV.
Doesn't matter, man.
I'm so sorry.
Fuck, I can't believe you remember that.
You introduced me to
I forgive you.
Thank you. Yeah, dude. Oh, you introduced me to Metalocalypse, and we literally, I think we watched 5 seasons. The winter was so bad that 6 months, we would go to work, we would exert so much energy that we would just want to get home and cook some food and literally chill. We watched
chill hard.
Yeah.
No, man, I totally forgot about that show too. Yeah, what a dark winter. What a mental winter. Fuck.
That is great, dude.
Totally forgot about that, man. I can't believe you remember that. Don't worry about the TV. It's okay.
I'm trying to think. What are some other crazy details? Dude, you and I, we lived at that house for 5 of the 6 months. At the end of month 5, we drove like over the hill and we saw a normal neighborhood. And we were like, what? Like, there's been we live in this normal neighborhood. Is that true? Did that happen?
That happened, and I how I was saying, I every once in a while, my wife and I go out there backpacking. There's 80 plus miles of backpacking trails, and it's fucking gorgeous out there. Like, it's really really cool. That one cemetery do you remember we were out there like probing for the headstones and everything?
Yes. Where we had to climb the side of a hill. Yeah, and then it was that old monolithic cemetery at the top that we had to clean up.
I went back there last year. And it's like crazy.
Weren't there Native American chieftains buried there?
I don't know. I lost my left arm when I touched a headstone. I'm not sure. But no, it was just no, I can't remember. It was like Smith something graveyard. But just, I mean, so cool to go back there. But I tried to find that old house. I
Mm-hmm.
totally couldn't find it. But
Trying to think of what old house here. I remember the hunting lodge at the top of the hill that we stumbled
yeah,
on.
yeah. No, I tried to find the old place that we lived in. And the
Oh,
other thing I was gonna bring up is, they were like the nicest people, like kind of weird, like
our landlord?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They were a little goofball.
I remember her hair was as white as the snow.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. They were
Older
they were
couple.
weird as people, but then it came to the end of our lease. We
Right.
signed a 6-month lease with them, and we were like, okay, the place is in like perfect shape. We didn't do anything wrong to it. We took
Uh-huh.
care of it,
Yeah.
and they were gone, and they were in Phoenix, and they
Right.
never returned our safety deposit.
Oh, yes. And that has started actually a history that I've never received a deposit back from a landlord because I've never
Really?
owned. Yeah, I've never owned a home. And my entire life, dude, they always find a way to say like, "Oh, we're going to keep your
Yeah.
your deposit, your 2 month, 1 month deposit." And it's just
I think
shady
that's
like.
the only rent I've never had. Like I mean, you and I took care of the place. It was,
Mhm.
I mean, as good or if not better than
Oh,
how it was
dude.
presented to us. And they were like, "Yeah, we're in Phoenix, Arizona."
What
They just fucking pieced out. And like,
I'm in this exact situation right now is that this house that I live in, my landlord hit me maybe 3 days ago saying, "Hey, we're going to sell." Now, this isn't anything new to me. I moved down here in 2017. I had one other landlord that did this to me, but I mean, if anybody expects that like a relationship with a landlord is going to last more than 4 or 5 years, because the economy
yeah,
changes where they can now be getting more rent, or they haven't been in the house in 5 years and they're just expecting a tenant to be taking care of it. They always
yeah,
try to come up with some Weasley shit. This place I live right now, I've built a life with these kids, dude. I built a
yeah.
tree house like 12 feet up off the ground. You got to climb a damn ladder and slide out of a slide to get out of it. I mean,
Whoa.
I've put in a garden. I built a basketball court. You guys can find that. It's called Quarantine Court on YouTube. Check out
Hold on, I'm
Isaiah's
writing that shit down right now.
Isaiah's
Quarantine court.
yeah, Quarantine Court. Isaiah's Swirled World is the name of the
I'm
that's me and my kids, the videos we do.
totally gonna check that out.
Dude, and there's a treehouse video on there. We've built a life at this house, and unfortunately, my landlord hit me up without reprise. There is no rebuttal to this. Nothing I can do. He wants to sell this house, and I've got just a short bit of time, so I'm gonna have to, pivot. Pivot at
Or
this.
do you have an idea where you're pivoting?
Yes, yes, I do. But I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to put the weight of my shoulders on the world or on, call people. I'm going to figure this out on my own, and I'm going to come out better on the other end, like we always do.
Understood. Understood.
Hey man, I've got a guest booked for like a month and a half out, but I really feel like this was riveting.
Yeah. No, it's my pleasure, Matt. Thank you. And thank you, Juice. I see you, bro.
Absolutely.
I
That's
see
the
you, man.
guy. No, he can't see or hear you, but he's
Oh
there.
no.
But yeah, I definitely wanted to have him as part of this tonight, brother. I love you. I mean, Dave, you've really been a great part of my life. And even this right now is a new chapter. And it was great talking with you tonight. And I always end these things by saying, rate and review. We love you.
Thank you, Matt. Anytime. I'm happy to be here.